date is the 20th of November 1860. Presidential candidate Abraham Lincoln has been declared the winner of the presidential election. Outgoing President James Buchanan gives his last State of the Union address to Congress December 3rd, 1860. His speech forewarns of the dangers to come, giving Northerners and Southerners alike mixed messages. On December the 20th, 1860, South Carolina secedes from the Union. 4 days later, it would issue the Declaration of the Immediate Causes, which induce and justify the secession of South Carolina from the Federal Union, followed by Mississippi on January the 9th, 1861, with Lucius Quintius Cincinnatus Lamar II resigning from the US Congress, writing the Mississippi Secession Ordinance. On January the 10th, 1861, the following day, Florida secedes from the Union after the Convention of the People of Florida votes overwhelmingly in favor of immediate secession. The Alabama People's Convention votes for the Ordinance of Secession, seceding the next day, January 11th, 1861. Just over a week later, Georgia would also secede, with the Georgia Secession Convention issuing an Ordinance of Secession on January the 19th, 1861. On January the 26th, 1861, before the month is out, Louisiana votes to adopt the Ordinance of Secession, becoming the sixth state to secede. Due to the governor of Texas, Sam Houston, being a Southern Unionist, events in Texas were delayed, but on the 1st of February, 1861, Texas voted in favour of secession, while a referendum ratified the Ordinance of Secession on the 23rd of February. On the 8th of February, 1861, the Provisional Congress of the Confederate States of America drafted the Constitution for the Provisional Government of the Confederate States of America. By March 11th, 1861, this would be replaced by the Constitution of the Confederate States of America, and in effect by February the 22nd, 1862. On April 4th, 1861, Virginia rules in favour of staying in the Union. From the 12th to the 13th of April 1861, Confederate and Union forces bombarded one another for the sea fortress known as Fort Sumter. This starts the beginning of the Civil War. On April 15, 1861, newly inaugurated President Abraham Lincoln calls for 75,000 volunteers to suppress the rebellion, the maximum amount allowed to be called by the President at the time. April 17, 1861, upon being called upon by Lincoln to contribute 3,500 troops, a second Virginian vote is won after the conditional Unionists opposed to forceful reunification changed their votes. Over the previous months, secessionists and a majority-held Unionists argued it out in the Arkansas Secession Convention. Although a people's vote was planned for August, the Battle of Fort Sumter and Lincoln's calls for 780 men to restore law and order pushed the convention to vote. On May 6, 1861, the convention voted almost unanimously in favour of seceding. Arkansas joins the Confederacy. Up until the incident at Fort Sumter and Lincoln's calls for volunteers, North Carolina's convention was a Unionist majority. By the 20th of May 1861, North Carolina seceded from the Union, and on the 21st of May, President Jefferson Davis proclaimed them a Confederate state. The last of the states to secede from the Union and join the Confederacy was Tennessee. Like the previous last few, Tennessee initially was a majority Unionist state and with a vocal secessionist minority. This was until the Battle of Fort Sumter and Lincoln's calls for volunteers. On June the 8th, 1861, Tennessee withdraws from the Union after the referendum votes to secede. Despite many efforts of the secessionist Governor Jackson, Missouri would remain a divided Union state, with two rival governors and representatives. Although there were calls for secession amongst the populace of the Kentucky state, they would remain neutral in the early months of the crisis, slowly becoming more Unionist as the years went on. Join us for the next episode shortly. Remember, like, share, subscribe.